be joined by Australia's youngest member of the London Olympics sailing team, Olivia Price. Olivia, great to have you in here. All these months on, all 6 of them admittedly, what's it like? How do you look back on London?
Looking back at London, it was such an amazing experience. I absolutely loved it. The sailing was the best competition that we'd ever had. I got to do it with 2 of my best mates, sailing the same boat, and it was a massive whirlwind, but it was a great experience.
Reflecting upon the gold medal race now, as you look back at some of the highlights, I mean, how vivid is it in your memory, or is it purely from watching replay upon replay that you've learned exactly what happened?
To be honest, I haven't really watched that much of the replay. I remember it every moment in my head. Yeah, of course, there was 5 races. It was a really tough day out there. We had up to 25 knots, which is quite windy, big swells, and we gave it everything and had a ball doing it.
Against Spain over those 5 races in the match race, you finished with silver. Tell us what happened in the second race.
Well, yeah, we were against Spain. There was a best of 5 series. We won, they won the first one, we won the second one. And in the third one, we had a little bit of a mishap.
It was
the third race, yeah. I fell out of the boat in a bit of a manoeuvre. We were trying to overtake them downwind in the second lap, or the first lap of the race, and yeah, I just got sucked out of the boat. I tried to grab onto stuff, but really couldn't grab anything worthwhile holding on to.
Yeah, I would say that falling out of the boat probably counts as a slight mishap as far as a gold medal race goes. But the sailing team really did hold Australia's hopes aloft. We really struggled in a lot of other capacities, but the sailing team did well. How do you think the likes of the swimming team, which we've heard so much about since, can learn from the sailing team and the camaraderie that you guys built?
We built up that camaraderie and the real team environment over 4 years. We had a lot of camps and stuff leading up to it. We did a lot of team bonding, family time and stuff like that. So it was a real team environment, and me as the youngest person, I really took a lot from the experience that everyone gave me, and having such a great support team in the Australian sailing team, psychologists, nutritionists, sports, medicine, everyone was there for us. So it was just a massive team environment.
You're not allowed to say sports medicine anymore.
No, be very careful. The Aussies are the most successful sailing team in London, and indeed this was our most successful sailing campaign. Did you get an indication of how the rest of the Australian team across other sports were reacting to that, or were you separate from them in Weymouth and not really able to gauge the reaction?
Well, because we're in Weymouth, which is about 3 hours away from London, our event went for the whole 2 weeks, so we didn't have time to go up to London to see what was going up there until the day before the closing ceremony. But we could see on the television, and of course there was always the news releases and stuff like that. I personally wasn't on Facebook or anything like that, so I didn't get to feel that sort of vibe from other athletes, but could tell from the media and stuff like that.
So we know you're looking ahead now to Rio, but what are the other primary events that you have to focus on?
So I go to Europe in about 2 months to compete in some World Cup events and the Europeans. We also have our World Championships in September in Marseille in the south of France. So we've got a couple of events coming up, so we're training hard at the moment actually. Just came in off the water, so yeah, we're just keeping on going with that.
Training in Sydney as part of the Middle Harbour Yacht Club, but not with your silver medalists from London, because match racing is scrapped from Rio 2016. Tell us what that means for you. Yeah,
so match racing unfortunately isn't in the Olympics anymore. It was a whole lot of different things that resulted in that, but I think this new 49er FX class, it's 2 females on a fast boat with a whole lot of people competing against each other rather than one-on-one. I think it's a really good opportunity for females to get into a fast boat, and we haven't ever had anything like this, so it's brand new for everyone. It's really great.
Why have they dropped match racing?
Well, I don't really know the real reason.
Is it the IOC or is it the sailing governing body?
International Sailing Federation. It was their decision. They vote based on Athletes Commission and a whole lot of other board members, so we really didn't have that much to do with it.
Are you upset by that?
In part, I do wish that match racing was back in, but I think this new boat is just going to be so exciting. I think I'm going to love it.
And it does have a nice ring to it to know that you won the last ever silver medal in that event. Yeah. No one can take that away from you now. We had Sally Pearson in here not too long ago on the desk, and she spoke about the disappointment post-London in not getting the sponsorship and the advertising which she would have liked. Now, she's in a high-profile sport. Is there any of that when we get to sailing? Has anyone approached you, or has there been any interest post-London?
Yeah, I've had a couple of people approach me, and the Australian sailing team has as well. I'm an ambassador for a kids charity called Live for Kids. It's based in Newcastle, so I do a lot of stuff with them, and I'm basically just going around and doing what I can for the sport and helping everyone out.
Olivia, plenty of Australian teams will kill for 3 Olympic gold and a silver in one campaign. Has the AOC recognised that success and upped the funding or given you the required support? Are you happy, or do you want to lobby John Coates right now and say, come on, where's the cash?
We haven't exactly heard the funding situation. I know that a lot of the heads of sports of all different sports in Australia went to Canberra to discuss all of that sort of stuff and pitch their point recently in the last couple of weeks, but I personally haven't heard the feedback. The AOC.
Go up.
Yeah.
Surely.
Well, that's all in the past. We're looking forward to the future, and hopefully, it can continue on the path that we have been.
Now, your brother joked with our reporter Andrew McKinlay there that not only were you not the best sailor in the country, but you're not even the best sailor in the family. Has he changed his tack somewhat since your performance over there? He's a great little brother. He actually recently got selected for the Australian youth sailing team and is going across to Cyprus to compete there later on in the year, and I'm going to go and watch him. So it'll be a nice change to be watching him rather than him watching me.
To illustrate just how talented our elite female athletes are, you better tell people what you are studying at uni. Not only are you training heavily on your boat, but what are you doing at uni?
I'm doing a Bachelor of Political, Economic and Social Sciences at Sydney University.
Will Jay Gillard make September 14, or will she be tossed out before then?
I'm just doing it for a bit of experience.
You can be a politician with an answer like that. What do you reckon, Ben?
Yeah, that's very well played. Olivia, thank you very much for coming in. We wish you well, and on the road to Rio, we hope that you get as much funding as humanly possible and everything goes to plan.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys. Thanks heaps.
Up next, we continue our